The year was 1997. Ethan Hawke and Uma Thurman were two of the biggest names in Hollywood. And Ethan Hawke and Uma Thurman teamed up to make a weird, thought-provoking sci-fi thriller called Gattaca. Gattaca was an odd, sort of futuristic movie about life in a society where your genes and your DNA essentially dictated how your life would go. Your genetic makeup was used by the all-powerful evil state to determine your usefulness to society.
10 fingers, 10 toes, that's all that used to matter. Not now. Now, only seconds old, the exact time and cause of my death was already known.
Neurological condition, 60% probability. Manic depression, 42% probability. Attention deficit disorder, 89% probability. Heart disorder, 99% probability. Early fatal potential. Life expectancy, 30.2 years.
Gattaca was really quite excellently weird in its own way, but it was a flop. Reportedly cost about $36 million to make. It sold only enough tickets to take in about a third of that. So really almost nobody saw Gattaca when it was widely released to the public back in 1997. But somebody saw it, or at least somebody read the Wikipedia page about it, because Republican Senator Rand Paul of Kentucky just gave a speech in support of Ken Cuccinelli in the Virginia governor's race, and the speech that Rand Paul gave seems to have been totally plagiarized from the Wikipedia page on Gattaca. Gattaca was a weird topic for a speech in a governor's race to begin with, but what's weirder is trying to be a candidate for president, which Rand Paul's trying to do, and thinking that you're going to get away with lifting your speeches from Wikipedia while you're doing that. Rand Paul traveled down to Lynchburg, Virginia today, the home of Jerry Falwell's Liberty University. His speech overall was about being anti-abortion and Ken Cuccinelli being very anti-abortion. And the theme he used to illustrate that was basically, he said that people who are pro-choice on the issue of abortion are sort of like the evil autocratic state in the movie Gattaca. They want to kill off anyone whose DNA and genes aren't approved of by society. Seriously, that's the argument. People who are pro-choice want to start practicing Nazi-style eugenics in America, or at least Gattaca-style eugenics. So therefore, vote for Ken Cuccinelli. It was kind of weird.
In the movie Gattaca, in the not-too-distant future, eugenics is common, and DNA plays the primary role in determining your social class.
The weird thing about that line from Senator Paul's speech today, in the not-too-distant future, eugenics is common and DNA plays a primary role in determining your social class, is that that line appears almost verbatim in the Wikipedia entry on Gattaca. Quote, in the not-too-distant future, liberal eugenics is common and DNA plays the primary role in determining social class. Hey, that's what Rand Paul said! And it looks like it's not a coincidence. Check this out. This is a little bit later in the Wikipedia entry. It's a description of the plot line of Gattaca. Due to frequent screening, Vincent faces genetic discrimination and prejudice. The only way he can achieve his dream of becoming an astronaut is to become a borrowed ladder. That's Wikipedia. Now here's Rand Paul today.
Due to the frequent screenings, Vincent faces genetic discrimination and prejudice. The only way he can achieve his dream of being an astronaut is he has to become what's called a borrowed ladder.
Rand Paul's speech today on Gattaca was totally ripped off of Wikipedia. Yeah, from Wikipedia. Ethan Hawke's character, quote, assumes the identity of Jerome Morrow, a former swimming star with a genetic profile second to none, who had been injured in a car accident, leaving him paralyzed. Hit it, Senator.
He assumes the identity of Jerome Morrow, world-class swimming star whose genetic profile is said to be secondary to none, but he's been paralyzed in a car accident.
This is weird, right? He's just up there reading Wikipedia off the teleprompter. Quote, Vincent buys Jerome's identity and uses his valid DNA in blood, hair, tissue, and urine samples to pass screening. Right, Senator?
Jerome buys his identity, uses his DNA, his blood, his hair, his tissue, his urine to pass the screening.
Rand Paul wants to be president, but right now he's just lifting whole sections of this Wikipedia entry, hoping that nobody's going to notice, and he can call it his speech. It's not like this hasn't happened before to presidential candidates. Herman Cain famously plagiarized Donna Summer, remember, when he ripped off the theme song to the Pokemon movie during the 2012 campaign. But you know what? That was Herman Cain. When Joe Biden got caught plagiarizing a speech back in the 1988 presidential campaign, that was seen as essentially the end of his presidential run that year. It took him more than a decade before he was allowed back into the top tier of candidates. What will the fallout be for Rand Paul? We reached out to Senator Paul's office tonight to see if they had some sort of explanation for this bout of really, really blatant plagiarism. We'll let you know if we hear back. But in the meantime, poor Ken Cuccinelli, right? This is honestly the last thing he needs right now. He's already down double digits in the latest polling. There's only 8 days left until the election. The sitting Republican governor he's trying to replace is now waiting on his possible indictment, which if it's going to come is going to come between Election Day and Thanksgiving. And the last national headliner event that he gets before Election Day is this dude at Jerry Falwell University talking about a 1990s Uma Thurman movie and plagiarizing the Wikipedia page on it. Thanks, Senator. So on the one hand, poor Ken Cuccinelli. On the other hand, what about Rand Paul? I think Rand Paul is going to have to explain himself on this. And maybe there is a perfectly good explanation. Maybe he wrote the Wikipedia entry in the first place. We'll keep you posted on what sort of explanation the senator offers up, if any.